Oh, good afternoon. I got a lot of time on my hands. Actually, I just need to take a break because I've been writing the book Enjoy the Decline, and it takes some doing, and so I'm kind of in that haze. I thought I would lighten things up and take a break, and once again dispense some wisdom I wish I got when I was younger, and that is HR, or Human Resources. Now, when I was younger and in college, no one told me what human resources was, what HR is. Sometimes they call it industrial relations, or now the new one is human capital, because they don't really do anything, so they come up with new cool names to make it sound like they're really cool or they're doing something, but it's just a euphemism. Look it up. But what HR is, every company has its own functions. There's accounting, there's operations, there's marketing, there's a thing called human resources. And it would be better called personnel. It's just the group of people that go out and do recruiting and try and find people. Now, over time, human resources has expanded into fields that are actually worthwhile, like employment law, insurance, benefits and compensation. So those things are good. But what you're going to more commonly run into HR with, especially if you're younger and looking for a job, is what I like to call the HR Ditz. Now, the HR Ditz, the reason it's a Ditz is because that's true for the most part. The vast majority of HR people are women. This isn't to say they're all Ditzes, but you're going to run into the HR Ditz. And usually this is a 22 or 23 or 24, maybe even all the way up to 35-year-old HR gal. They call them generalists. And they are the ones who do screening interviews. They have this magical ability to determine whether you're a good candidate. And the way they do that is by asking you insanely difficult, complex questions you can't understand because you're just a stupid moron. Questions like, what's your favorite color and why? And where do you see yourself in 5 years? And, have you ever had a problem with your boss? How did you come to resolve the solution, or how did you come about a solution, and why? And you got to look at them, and of course these are the dumbest questions ever, but that's what I'm trying to warn you about. The correlation. Now, when I did my studying back at college, they made us take an HR class. So I went and looked up some stuff, found a Mercer study. Do you know what the correlation coefficient between their interview tactics are and actual performance and success on the job? 0.1. That's like nothing. It's not, but they still insist on asking these questions. Now, why do companies do it? Why do you have to deal with the HR Ditz? Well, here's the honest truth, and I know it's going to be, the truth is so mean, it's so horrible. But yeah, I love the truth. The truth is that HR is largely an affirmative action program for women. In the olden days meaning 80s, I would estimate, we got to increase the ranks of women. And were they necessarily qualified? No. Did we really have any need? Was there job openings? Not necessarily. Well, hey, let's throw in HR where they could cause the least amount of damage. The problem in doing that is that HR is your first front line in weeding out and finding human capital, finding employees. And no matter what a company tells you, a company will not work without its employees. For once, when companies say employees are our biggest asset, that's not a lie. That's true. Machines just sit there. Computers just do nothing. So I don't know who came up with the brilliant idea of putting the 23-year-old who can't do basic high school algebra interrogating engineers, accountants, financial analysts, economists, doctors, surgeons, whatever. You gotta go talk to some veritable child who doesn't know anything about your industry except to read off the list of what's your favorite color and why. Another one, this is great. If you could be an animal, which animal would it be? You want me to go straight on the neck? So here's some advice about how to deal with HR. Okay, one, if you can, at all expense, avoid HR. If they say, well, we're going to have you interview with HR, two things. One, you're probably not going to get the job, okay, because the job isn't that important that they've delegated it to such a low-ranking individual. So whatever that job description said, it ain't going to be anything like that. It's going to be a low-ranking, entry-level, nothing job. So the way to tell you're not going to have a job or have a career is there's a 24-year-old child sitting across you asking you stupid questions about your feelings, and not whether or not you can do modeling of the financial side, not the catwalk. Although I could do my catwalk, the catwalk, yeah. as I shake my perfectly sculpted Irish ass on the catwalk. But where was I? I'm still got my perfectly sculpted ass in mind. But so is that two? Go to the hiring manager. They don't tell you what the hiring manager is because they don't want to lose their jobs. The hiring manager is the person who should be doing the job of researching and trying to find a candidate. That's the boss. That's who you call the boss. They call it a hiring manager now. So find out who the hiring manager is. Now this takes a lot. You can always call up and find out. Usually people won't tell you who the hiring manager is. So unfortunately, you got to go and network. Okay, networking. I know it's a pain in the ass, and I don't like it. I've only done it twice because I've since given up. I don't deal with HR. That's a better way to find a job is to go to networking and industrial networking, like your guild or your industry. Don't go to job fairs because that's just HR people sitting at the desk and going to ask you the same question. If you wanted to be an animal, what animal would it be and why? So try and find the engineering club or the chemists association or the local CPA society. That'd be the place to go. I also will hands down refuse to interview with HR. I no longer deal with HR. It's actually an insult if you think about it, to sit there, waste your time, and they usually make you pay for parking if you're going downtown, and you gotta drive, and because and here's another. I don't mean to get too psychological, but since HR is predominantly employed by women, they do treat it, it's very similar to dating. You got to prove to them that you're the qualified candidate, and then they will grace you with their honor to maybe get advanced to the second interview or give you the job. So that's a losing proposition. You just don't play that game. So I won't even bother with HR. Now, let me go through some additional advice again. I have a list, and I'm serious when I have my list. And to show you the severity and the importance of avoiding HR, I've come up with a list, and I've titled the list, Things You Want to Avoid, but Are Still Better Than Running into HR. Okay, so these are bad things, you don't want to run into them, but if you had the choice between running into one of these things or HR, it's best to run into one of these things. So first, Madonna. Okay, that's kind of scary. You don't want to run into Madonna. I know everyone still thinks she's the coolest, but they're about to collect Social Security, so you want to avoid her. Rabid badgers. Rabid badgers are better to run into than HR. Again, you don't wake up saying, boy, I hope I run into a rabid badger today. But definitely better than running into HR. Nuclear fallout. That's always better. You could always run into, it would be less painful at that. The Ebola virus. The Ebola virus, that would be better than anything. Here, this was a little close, but I still think you'd rather run into this than you would HR. A stalker from a Renaissance festival. The people from the Renaissance festival are kind of a little, that kind of thing. If you've ever dated one, I strongly recommend you don't, because it gets weird real quick. An F5 tornado. Yes, that is better to run into, not literally run into, though if you had the choice, flip of a coin to me listening to, so where would you go and travel and why? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or 300 miles an hour of stuff blowing all around me, be a little less painful. Drunk guys at bars who want to talk to you and be your best friend. You're just sitting at the bar, you want to be left alone, and they want to talk to you. Those guys are better than running into HR. Somali pirates. Those are good. You can run into Somali pirates. That's much better than HR. Angry protesting grandma. You don't know who that is, but I'll show you now. Yes, scary, but you still rather run into her than HR. And then finally, granola church service. So you don't know what I mean by that, but my dad was a pastor, but granola church service is where it's all for the cool kids, and you don't have to dress up in a suit or anything. And the way you can tell it's granola church service is not only is there no organ, everything's acoustic guitar. There's some kids up there on the stage with Zubas on, and they're playing an acoustic guitar and singing really crap. Any hymn, I'm not a big religious guy, but any hymns made in the past 30 years have really got to suck. Okay, in order for it to be a good hymn, it's got to be 200 years old or older. But anything that's come out recent, it's just like Christian rock. It's horrible. It's wretched. So, anyways, so hopefully that's kind of giving you fair warning as to what HR is like and what you can expect with HR. If you have any questions, you can always email me. But yeah, your life is too short and you spend too much time on your career and your education to be dealing with unprofessional types like HR. So yeah, avoid them. Go for the hiring manager and don't care how politically incorrect it is. It's the truth. So, toodles, kids.